My name is Christoph Derringer. I'm 50 years old, I think. I don't keep track of my age because I don't need to. What year are we?
My name is Brandon Austin. I've been making blades for about 6 years. I signed up for Forged in Fire because of the episode with a contestant, Brandon, cried multiple occasions. I can't let that go. I came here to win. For all the Brandons out there.
My name is Wade Siders. I've been making blades for about 17 years. I love problem solving. Being able to forge or complete a task, that is fascinating to me.
My name is Matthew Cristiano. I've been bladesmithing for 6 years. I'm walking past this dump truck through wet sand. That's right up my alley because I forge in fields for fun.
Bladesmiths, welcome. I know you were probably expecting the forge, but today, just to up the ante, we brought you to our rock quarry. You're here for 3 rounds of edged weapon making competitions specifically designed to test every aspect of your skills. And judging your progress is our panel of esteemed judges. These are the guys who are going to determine which of you is the next Forged in Fire champion and also leaves here with that check for 10 grand. 2-time Forged in Fire champion and fan favorite, Ben Abbott. Historic weapons recreation specialist, David Baker. Edged weapons specialist, Doug Marcaida. You've noticed on your anvils there's no steel. That's because you'll be choosing between round bar and metal grates sourced from this quarry. There's plenty of it out there. You'll have to choose which is the better option. And as if that wasn't hard enough, today you'll be using these. Coal forges.
Great. Black snot, dust, and grit. That's not something that I enjoy very much.
Today, you'll be using these coal forges to make signature blades that are between 12 and 14 inches. The overall length of your weapon must not exceed 22 inches. Keep in mind that in the second round, we'll return to the forge, where you'll place a handle onto your blades, turning them into fully functional weapons that will then be tested for strength and durability in a tile chop and for edge retention in a conveyor belt slice. Gentlemen, you will have 4 hours in this round. There will be no design period. Good luck, bladesmiths. Your 4 hours starts now. So, Ben, which steel would you pick?
If I was competing, I'd be tempted by those steel grates because they're easy to collect. But that round bar would just be quicker to forge, provided you can get it off the wall.
I'm grabbing the large piece of steel because the other piece of steel looked too skinny and small, and I didn't want to have to forge weld.
Thank you.
See, that's the beauty of this. Even though you're in competition with each other, the sportsmanship, the camaraderie that you have as bladesmiths.
It's beautiful to see that Brandon is getting some of that round bar for Christoph and Wade.
Torch is over there. I'm gonna make a drop point hunter because I believe it's a good design for chopping, has a lot of meat behind the edge. What inspires me when I'm making blades is my imagination. I enjoy reading and sci-fi type movies and that, and you can make those instruments and use them.
Yeah, looks like they're all going with the bar from the wall. Smart move. I think it might be 1084, which is good steel.
Nice thing about 1084 is it's a good, clean, easy working steel. It's very forgiving. You'll be able to move that out into a 2x1/4 inch bar without stressing yourself too much.
The one thing you don't want to see is sparks coming up with the fire. It means that the steel inside is actually burning.
Brandon is really having a hard time getting his fire started.
I'm that guy. You'll get it. I'm gonna make the saber-style Bowie. I'm gonna have a lot of depth. If I can run the fuller with that too, it'll give me the strength. This is going great. Fire's going good, exactly the way I want it. Feeling good.
I have a good idea of how my knife is going to look. I'm just gonna go for something that I like to call a choppa. It'll be wide. That width, I think, will provide it with enough strength to withstand the tile breaking test.
Be a big-ass knife.
Christoph brought Odin's hammer.
It'll be interesting to see how he moves steel with that big old hammer.
I'm gonna use the big round bar, the grate. The material looks a little bit thin to make a 12-inch blade. I have no clue what I'm gonna design yet. I think I'll see what the steel tells me.
All already 20 minutes into this competition, and one of our bladesmiths doesn't have a fire, and that is a huge problem.
I look around, every other competitor has started the hammer work. Yeah, if I can't get this fire going, I believe even my youngest boy is gonna give me hell about it.
Can't believe this. It'd be nice to see him kind of pile a little bit more coal up on there, just make a little vent hole for it so that hot flame is moving out through one section, heating that coal up.
My main goal today is not to cry.
Bust that paper up a little bit if you can. It's wound up tight.
Look at this. Wade is actually taking time off to help Brandon get his fire started. Teamwork works. Look at that.
Get it, finally.
Now it's fire. I'm very in tune to coal and what it's capable of doing. It's right up my alley, and I just hope my body holds together to finish.
The last few times he's pulled that steel out, it's got a good temperature.
What could these smiths do, Dave, to know for a fact you're working the steel at the right temperature?
It's really just pulling it out. Don't leave it in there forever.
You can burn the tip right off of what you're working on pretty quickly. I love to see people swing a hammer from above their head. That's how you know they're gonna move metal.
Currently, I am the lead blacksmith at Mountain Forge. Out of college, was a ski bum for a year, and then I got the job at the forge fabricating and stayed there for 10 years.
He brought his own big blue.
Yeah.
We've seen guys come in here with monstrous hammers and get fatigued after the first round of hammer blows. We have a disproportionately large hammer compared to the size of the human being.
My big hammer is great. My biggest strengths as a bladesmith are my hand forging abilities. I'm always doing something with my hands. I do a little bit of origami now and then. I like folding paper.
Bladesmiths, 90 minutes has elapsed. Brandon coming along great. Started a little bit behind everybody else. Finally starting to get down to that tang and hammer on that.
My fire's doing really well now, so I figure I'll go ahead and power through and catch up because I lost a lot of time.
Oh,
I just burnt my blade in half. I'm gonna lose it. Can't believe I just burned up my steel.
He burnt off about 4 inches of that bar.
Yep. And you can see what happens once you get to that temperature. The grain becomes extremely brittle.
Kidding me.
Oh! Half of Wade's blade just burnt off.
He just heated that steel so much, hit it once with a hammer, 4 inches fell from that steel.
That's exactly what happened to Brandon's blade.
I got my blade too hot. I'm just mad at myself for that novice mistake. I feel like I'm done.
I think that we have a smith who's out of this competition already.
I just want to kick the fire over and just leave.
Half of Wade's blade just burnt off. Brandon's blade burnt off. I think that we have a smith who's out of this competition already.
Can't believe I just burned up my steel. I just want to kick the fire over and just leave.
Out here with the lighting like it is it more difficult to judge the temperature of your steel?
Absolutely. Because the sun comes out and it goes away, everything is dependent on the lighting.
I'm an extremely competitive person. I do not like to lose. I'm getting new steel and starting over.
I feel like I'm done. And I'm just mad at myself. But quitting is not an option. It's not even in my DNA.
Way to go, Wade. I lost my tang. I'll make a hidden tang. Just change your plan. That's the way to go.
I might have to change my blade style. I'll go for a sax. I have quite a bit of steel left, but this thing is going to be thinned out a little more than I like.
I'm starting my new blade, and the first thing that's running through my mind is not overheating it. I'm not gonna cry. I don't care what happened. I don't care how many times I messed up. I'm not gonna burn my blade again because I have to turn something in. I can't just quit.
one of my concerns here is he's been hammering that when it's cold.
If he keeps hammering on cold steel like that, he could develop cracks.
I've got my handle shaped out, so I'm gonna cut off the remainder of the steel and start forging my point.
Smart work. Instead of cutting it off flat, he's going to get an angle into it. Now we should see him start really to work those bevels up towards that tip.
Today, I feel like The coal is feeding me. The other bladesmiths are feeding me this great energy. It's time to start spreading out this blade. Focus isn't one of my strong points. I'm hearing cuss words. I keep noticing Christoph disappearing. I'm starting to be a little concerned for him that he won't get his blade finished in time.
Christoph hasn't been back over to the forge in a while. He's been battling with his steel. It's really not looking good for him.
The 8-pound hammer is great for starting things, but I'm not built to swing it all day long. I'm starting to get hot spots on my hands. I can feel blisters forming. My competitors are monsters. Geez, these are big guys. I'm half the size of everybody else around here. I'm just gonna have a break. There's still time left. I'm not worried at all.
Bladesmiths, you only have 60 minutes.
Worried about that clock. There's an hour left, and I'm trying to catch up. Matt's got a blade forged out, and Wade's blade's looking pretty nice as well. I believe I can get it done, but it definitely won't be the blade that I plan to do.
What I'm doing now is trying to clean my blade up after stretching it out before I quench.
This quench has to be right. This is where luck comes into play. If this doesn't work, I'm going home.
All right, Wade's in the quench.
Fabulous.
I'm ecstatic it's finished. This wasn't the blade I set out to make, but this was a decent second option to me. Person in front of me is Matthew, young, strong buck. Even though he's Californian, he could forge. Looks like he should be on a surfboard.
There he goes. Boom. Matthew has really been cruising along very steadily. No problems there.
I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm gonna start grinding down on it to make it smooth and give it a better feeling in the hand. Sleek lines and clean designs. That's my style. I see 2 little stress fractures in the spine of the knife. I am heartbroken. I am very nervous that there's gonna be more of these cracks throughout the blade.
Christoph came out of the gate with the big hammer for a few strokes. Now he's kind of defaulting to that pace where his hammer blows are steady, everything's rhythmic.
That break he took has really reset him.
The blade looks kind of like a Mediterranean dirt. My main concern is length. I'm just gonna stretch the front section, the front third of the blade, until I get enough length.
It's starting to look like something.
Yeah. Hope it's a 12-inch something.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, drop your tools. This forging round is over.
My blade's a chopper. It's gonna chop. Is it gonna break? Maybe.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the forge. You co-forge signature blades in your signature style. Now it's time for the judges to take a closer look at your work. Matthew, please present your blade to the judges.
I'm very impressed with your hammer work. This looks fantastic, except these 2 major cracks.
You mastered the heat. He who controls the heat moves more metal with every beat. But overall, impressive, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Wade, let's see what your work has to say.
Well, Wade, I love the shape. I love the little bit of a clip point. There is a tiny bit of a warp, but I think it's within grinder range.
As soon as you had a problem with the tang by burning some of that metal off, you didn't miss a beat at all. You adapted, you overcome, you improvised, and then you turned out this beautiful shape. Good job, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Brandon, you're up. Please present your work to the judges.
Brendan, a bit of a rough shape as it sits. There's a lot of cracking.
I like the drop that you have over here. Feels like a good slashing weapon. Overall, thank you for persevering through that heat and that sun. Good job.
Thank you.
Christoph, please present your work to the judges.
Your use of the cross peen on this blade was great to watch. I love the fact that you've got this integral bolster on here. It's a really nice touch, and the way you came back from kind of burning out for a second there was really good to see.
I really like the shape of this. We were nervous about the length of it. I know that you were stretching and stretching and stretching. We'll see if it made it.
Bladesmiths, the judges will now go into deliberation. While they do that, you're gonna leave your blades on this table and step off the forge floor. Well, gentlemen, we've got 4 completed blades. Let's go over the details. We'll start with Matthew's blade here.
Hey, they got your blade.
They got my blade? Oh, God.
Came up with a great profile. I like the fact that he started with the tang and worked forward. He shaped everything to here and then just worked that down. I'm not crazy about the way this is set up. It's just really wide.
The one issue about his blade are those cracks right there. The good thing is that he was able to make it wide so that if he does make any corrections in there, he'll still have enough blade to perform in our tests.
All right, let's move on to Wade's blade.
I really like the Brokeback Sax shape. You know, he lost a bit of his steel early on. I think that worked out in his favor because otherwise it might have been a big, stouter, heavier blade. I think he did a good job.
All right, let's move on to our next bladesmith. What do we think of Brandon's work?
He fought that fire and rarely getting this up to a working heat. He was just pounding cold steel the whole time. And it shows. I mean, there are cracks on this that go in every direction.
Surface cracks are okay, but it's in a critical area. You got cracks over here on the spine and on the edge, and the edge is what makes contact to what we're cutting.
All right, moving on to our last bladesmith, and that is Christoph.
It's good to see him pull out the fullers to put this transition in here to the integral guard. That's really impressive.
This is such a classic knife shape. He really pulled his full toolbox out and hammered in a distal taper. Now, some of that was just panic to get enough length out of that tip, which is, of course, the big question. Right on the line.
All right, judges, all these things taken into consideration. Doug, I need to know, have you made your final decision?
Yes, I have.
Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Ben?
Yes.
Let's go tell our smiths. Bladesmiths, the judges' deliberation is complete, and they've made a final decision. It's time for one of you smiths to leave the forge. Brandon, your blade didn't make the cut.
Brendan, you fought hard out there, fighting with the ever-changing light, the coal forge kind of acting up on you. But in the end, what it came down to are those multiple cracks in that blade, and we just don't see a way you could fix those in a second round. But thank you for your work.
Brandon, please surrender your weapon.
Yeah, I definitely came here to prove that I wouldn't cry and prove that I can make a blade, and I've 75% achieved that goal. I didn't quite make a blade that was functional, but I didn't cry. Someone's got to go in the first round, and I'm that guy.
Congratulations, bladesmiths. You've made it to the second round of this competition. And now that your blades have been tempered, it's time to turn them into fully functional weapons by attaching handles to them. You will have 3 hours in which to complete your work. But keep in mind, after this round, your blades will be tested for strength and durability in a ceramic tile chop and for edge retention in a conveyor belt slice. Good luck, bladesmiths. Your 3 hour starts now.
Here we go.
Off to the races.
Christoph heading over to the grinder. Does he have the most work to do?
I don't think so. Matthew's got a whole back of a blade to grind away.
Oh, yeah.
First thing I'm gonna do in round 2 is eliminate those cracks. I have to profile the whole spine, which is over 14 inches long. I've got to take almost a 1/4 inch off the back of this knife.
Matthew's design right now is still thick, whereas Christoph is already starting out with a very lean blade. So the more he grinds, the lighter that blade's gonna be, and we're gonna do some chopping.
My plan for round 2 is to make a shiny, pokey thing that cuts with a handly bit on the other side that doesn't hurt your fingers too much.
Christoph wants to modify the ruler.
Oh, he's actually going to cut a notch for the integral bolster and put it all the way across.
Interesting idea.
Either that or he's given up on the blade he started with and he's going to make a knife out of the ruler.
I'm putting a guard on this blade because of the historical attributes it has for the sax.
Dirty dog.
Normally, I use a drift for the guard, but I didn't do that this time. I was using a Dremel to get a tighter fit. These tools, I'm breaking them.
Dog.
is that doing that? I'm not functioning properly. I can't think. Son of a... I'm spending way too much time on this guard.
1 hour has elapsed.
All of a sudden, Matthew jumped out, bam, he's working on handle now. When did that happen?
I think I've gotten rid of the cracks that were in my blade. So I picked some sort of synthetic material. I picked red because it's a passionate color, and I'm a passionate person. When the drill bit goes through the scales, it flexes a little and makes a little bit of a bend in my hole. My next pin isn't going through. I abandon that pin and find a piece of brass tubing to make a nice little lanyard hole.
This guy.
He's hilarious.
I didn't ask him what he was smelling for. I didn't want to offend the guy.
The Purple Heart that I chose feels heavy enough to counterbalance the weight of my knife, hopefully.
Has he put any pins in it?
I don't think so.
When you have an integral bolster, if you try to pin both scales on at once, one of them will always slide out of alignment. And I'm trying to avoid the sloppy look. This isn't the 80s.
If he drills through that wood and into that tang, doesn't it have the possibility of popping his scale off?
Oh, yes.
If things go well, drilling the holes through everything at once saves a lot of time. If you're working under a time limit, you take chances.
Unreal. This guard has taken me way too long. So I'm making a drift out of this and do it the way I just normally do it. My plan for making the handle, I'm gonna pick some strong, hard wood. I need some size because I'm doing a hidden tang.
Oh, God. Not a burn-in.
Oh, man, these burn-throughs have been disastrous in the past.
I'm doing a burn-through because it will go into the wood handle faster and the burn will expand it out and I'll have a tight fit.
We've had burn-throughs where in the last second they went to tap that handle on and pop.
This is extremely dangerous. I'm putting a lot of pressure on the handle.
There you go. Ooh, I don't want to see him leaning on it like that.
Yeah.
When that thing cracks, he's got hot steel in his hand.
If this breaks, I'm done.
Don't do that. Yeah.
When that thing cracks, he's got hot steel in his hand.
If this breaks, I'm done.
It's actually pretty good, man.
Lady Luck was on my side.
I'll go with it.
15 minutes! Look at Matthew's blade with that red handle, man. That thing is sexy. Is there any worry that those cracks might exist elsewhere in his blade?
It is possible there's others.
The cracks are still in my head. They've positioned my knife to fail. My competition has about as much experience as I am old, so I hope my knife can hold up to theirs.
7 minutes to go. I'm getting nervous for the guys to get them nice and sharp.
Usually I can sharpen things quite fast. I'm usually pretty good at pulling it off in the last few seconds. I'm not sure how well it'll slice after smacking against the tile, but we'll find out.
There isn't much time left to get this thing finished, but I'm gonna try. I don't have time to get that fine edge that you need to do the slice test, but I put quite the geometry on that just favored the chop. I'm concentrating on the chop test because Matthew's blade is the one most likely to break. If Matthew's blade breaks, I ain't gonna have to worry about the slice test. I'm just rolling the dice.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, this handle round is over.
I'm nervous about my cracks in the blade, but I think it is a functioning chopper.
Gentlemen, this is the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your edge, as well as the overall construction of your knives, I'm going to baton your knives through these slate tiles twice. This brutal test is designed to push the very limits of your blade construction. Matthew, you're up first. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I am nervous. The cracks are still in my head, and I don't want my knife to fail.
Well, Matthew, first things first, your edge held up very well. No wiggling, no chipping. The handle, a little bit on the small side. Right up here where the finger well is, it's square and it's a little bit bitey, but still, it's hold-onable, which is a new word I just made up. Overall, it held up nicely. Well done.
Thank you.
Wade, you're up next. You ready?
Yeah, I suppose. I'm worried going into testing. I just hope my blade is usable. It is testable. I just have no confidence right now.
Well, Wade, your edge held up very well. It's a bit obtuse for me. It's more like an axe edge than a slicing knife. There is some gapping here where the shoulders meet the guard, but overall, well done.
Thank you, sir.
Christophe, you're up.
All right.
You ready?
Break that puppy.
I don't want to break it.
Oh, come on.
All right, fine, I'll break it.
I feel a little bit nervous. Tile, not very good for edges.
Well, Christophe, out here, where it was resting on the tile, your edge held up very well. But when I hit it, it put a roll. You can hear it.
Yeah.
On the edge here. And I do like the shape of your handle. It's a very classic design. Overall, it held up very well.
All right, gentlemen, now that we've brutalized your blades in our strength test, it's time for the sharpness test.
I'll deliver 2 blows to this conveyor belt with your blade. Now, a sharp blade should have no problem.
All right, Matthew, you're up. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right, Matthew, the blade's sharp. Second cut, blew right through. First cut, when I hit, this blade just rolled in my hand. For me, there's not enough handle to the blade. But the blade's sharp, it's definitely a cutter. Went through the belt. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Wade, you ready?
I suppose.
That was not a threat.
I'm worried about the handle busting through, something loose coming undone. The anticipation is grueling. I have to hold my arm to keep my hands from shaking.
So Wade, first off, I really like the shape of your handle. It fits my hand really nicely. Good chopping edge. I can take a tree down with this easy. But as far as cutting this conveyor belt, it's just not cutting. All right, Christophe, let's do it. Well, I really like the design of your knife. Your handle feels wonderful. I like that simple grip. The style of your blade is great. I just wish it had more of an edge on it. I can run my finger along your edge without fear of cutting myself. An edge like that's just not going to cut this kind of material.
I'm sitting in the same spot as Christophe. He has some flaws. I just think mine are more.
Well, bladesmiths, the judges have watched you work, tested your blades, and the bladesmith leaving the forge is.
I'm sitting in the same spot as Christophe. He has some flaws. I just think mine are more.
Well, bladesmiths, the judges have watched you work, tested your blades, and they've made their final decision. Christoph, your blade did not make the cut. Doug Markita will explain.
Christoph, this challenge was physically and mentally draining, but your happy attitude and the way you kept things lighthearted kept us smiling. But at the end of the day, your blade didn't cut the conveyor belt, and on the strength test, it was the only blade that took damage, and that's the reason we have to let you go.
Christoph, please surrender your blade.
I'm all right with the judge's decision. What else are you gonna do? You're either gonna be gloomy and annoyed all the time, or else you have fun. When I get home, I'll probably mess up the shop a little more. My wife and daughter just said don't embarrass us too much. Too late! Sorry.
Matthew, Wade, congratulations. You've made it to the final round of this competition, which means that you're both one step closer to the title of Forged and Fire champion and a check for 10 grand. Now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the Spanish Navaja. Rising to popularity in the 1600s, the Spanish Navaja was a deadly folding weapon, common in duels and street brawls. This blade could be folded into the handle and locked in place, making it easy to conceal. It featured a locking ratchet mechanism, which kept the blade in place. The ratchet sound of a Navaja opening was also used to intimidate foes. Wielded with the blade up, a strike from the Navaja was difficult to parry, and wounds were often fatal. Navajas were often inscribed with pithy phrases in Spanish, boasting about the deadliness of the blade. The Spanish Navaja is a folder, so your Navaja must fully open and fully close, and when closed, the edge must be fully protected by the handle. Additionally, your Navaja should include a ratchet and lock system with at least 3 points on the ratchet. You will have 5 days at your home forge to complete this project. At the end of 5 days, you'll return and present your Navajas to our panel of expert judges. And only after they've thoroughly tested those blades will they declare one of you the Forged and Fire champion and give you a check for $10,000. Good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Good luck.
Dude.
So now that I'm back at my home forge, I'm comfortable, I'm happy. I have more tools that I know how to use and I am confident with. Cut that out. I'm gonna use a few different types of metal, 15N20 and 1084, because I know they'll be flashy and I know they'll look nice. I get through my first 2 welding heats and immediately I see this mega blister. So that leaves me pretty much with one option, and that's to cut it out. Plan B is going to be work more steel into this billet. I'm way behind, and the clock is ticking.
It's great to be back home at my own home forge, and I'm ready to go. Well, my plan of making this blade is a cable on the spine for strength, a ladder pattern Damascus on the blade edge. That's gonna allow me the sharpness that I'm looking for. We're gonna get this heated up. Matthew's competitive, he's young, he's gonna do everything he can to win it. And I totally expect that I could get a piece together that will outperform his.
About 750 strands of wire there.
It's day 3, and I'm working on a lot of stuff today. Yesterday, I was able to do the final forging on my blade. Now it's time to figure out this ratcheting folder. This is kind of like a make or break moment for me. Is the spring gonna work? If I can get this thing perfect, then that could make or break this competition. I put everything back on the plate, I put it in position, and voila. I'm really happy.
Okay, going into day 3, I have my blade profiled, of course. I'm gonna need to get it hardened, but this project is not going as planned. I lost my power hammer yesterday, and because my power hammer's out of commission, there's no room to start over again. I'm heating up my blade pattern on the bottom. When I hit the color I want, that's when I'll quench. I have 2 days into this blade. If there's any problem during the quench, I'm back to day 1. Because my power hammer's out of commission, I don't have time to do that. If it doesn't work, I'm done. If the quench does not go well, if I get cracks, if I destroy my blade, it's going to be devastating. I think I got it.
Yesterday, I was able to get a lot done. I finalized my spring. I got my handle scales rough shaped. Today's all about final assembly. So I've got this $5 Mokame slammer. I'm gonna try to forge it out into a little rattlesnake tail. I raided my son's piggy bank. What would be better than making a decorative butt cap out of quarters? One of my main concerns with this knife is the sharpness. I spent as much time as I could, but time's running out. It's just a go moment. Just go. Go, 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 go. I've put so much of my passion into this blade. I kept my head down, I focused, I planned. I really think I've proven to myself that I can make anything.
Last day to finish this Navaja. My heart's pumping, assembling this piece together. I'm attaching a pull ring to the spine of this. That's what releases the spring. Mechanics take time. The fitting takes time to get just right. I'm hoping that time was well spent on success in final assembly. That's the ticket. This thing went together pretty good, and I really like it. Fits tight. Holding this weapon, you automatically feel powerful. That must be something to do with the magic in the quench.
Matthew Wade, welcome back to the Forge. You've had 5 days at your home forge just to work on your Navajas. Matthew, how did it go?
It was the most challenging blade I've ever made. I've made it out of 1084 and 15N20. It's a Gomai. It has 5 layers. I put everything I have into it, my heart, my soul, and I hope it performs very well.
Wade, how'd it go for you?
Went good. It was an interesting weapon to recreate. I did a 5-layer composite billet as well. I went at it like I was competing against the world champion. I did as much as I could and worked up right to the last minute.
All right, gentlemen, each of your weapons will now be tested. And up first, the kill test. Doug?
The Spanish Navaja, an iconic folding weapon from history. It's even said to influence the American Bowie knife. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, we'll take your Spanish Navaja and deliver killing blows on this deer carcass. Matthew, you're up first. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Matthew, nice and solid work right here. But I'm still recovering from an injury. So please welcome Anthony Palmer. Anthony is one of the chief instructors of Muay Kali. Today, he will have the pleasure of wielding your Spanish Navaja.
My biggest concern going into testing is the sharpness of my blade.
Your blade is beautiful, and it's also solid in its feel. It lacerates easily. You can see it chopped right through the spine. Now, one of the pieces here came flying out during the test. But in terms of the sharpness and the wieldability of your blade, it will kill.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Wade, it's your turn. You ready?
You bet.
Please wait, I can hear the mechanism working in there.
The thud of that deer carcass hitting the floor is absolutely the sound of $10,000. I feel like I'm ahead. That's where I want to be. I want to win it.
All right, Wade, your blade is sharp.
Thank you.
The one issue is it's kind of rickety here, even while it was being wielded. But despite being rickety, it's deadly and it will kill.
Thank you.
Next up is a strength test. Ben?
To test the strength and durability of your edge, as well as the overall construction, I'm going to smash into this bamboo with your Spanish Navajas. Matthew, you're up first. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at Wade like he is one up on me. His blade might wiggle a little bit, but it just cut that deer in half. I have to outperform him on this strength test if I'm gonna win this competition. I'm looking at Wade like he is one up on me. I have to outperform him on this strength test if I'm gonna win this competition.
Well, Matthew, this thing's one hell of a chopper. Held together beautifully. There was slight glinting that happened up here near the tip, but it's pretty darn sharp. Very well done.
Thank you.
Wade, you're up next. You ready?
Yeah. I'm ahead, he's ahead, I'm ahead, he's ahead. We've been this way the whole time. It's a battle. I want to win it. No, it's broken.
Well, Wade, we have a problem. On about the third strike, things started to get kind of loose, and that torquing and the stress made your scales pop off. The only thing holding the cutting end to the handle end are these thin brass sheets, and I don't have confidence in their strength. This blade has lost its structural integrity. It's no longer safe to test.
Wade, due to the catastrophic failure of the structural integrity of your weapon, we cannot continue testing that blade. So I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
I thought I could beat down a door with that thing, but, you know, apparently you can't. I should have put more weight in the liner just to make the whole handle section much more strong.
Matthew, congratulations. You are the Forge and Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for 10 grand. Good job.
I just won Forge and Fire, and I am so excited. Being here as a winner means a lot to me. I've had so much support throughout my life to do what I'm passionate about, and my passion has proven to be what I should be doing. I'm supposed to be a metal worker. Stay with it. Don't stop. Keep going.